This is damning. It really is. I got to tell you. You see this quote, it wasn't a champion.
A'ja Wilson's recent comments about her former teammates in the Las Vegas Aces locker room have sent shockwaves through the WNBA, leaving many to wonder what's going on with one of the most successful teams in recent history. In a candid interview, Wilson revealed her frustrations about the state of the locker room and questioned whether it was ever really built for championship success. She said it wasn't a championship locker room and expressed doubts even before the training camp started. This has ignited debates across the league and left many people wondering what exactly happened to the Aces, a team that was once on top of the basketball world. A'ja Wilson's statement hit hard, especially when considering the Aces' recent track record of success. The team had won 2 championships under her leadership, and Wilson had been a standout star, earning MVP awards and leading the charge for the Aces' dominance. Yet now she's openly critical of her past teammates, many of whom left the team during free agency. The players who departed included important contributors like Alicia Clark, a veteran and defensive specialist, and Sydney Carlson, one of Wilson's closest friends. These exits have raised questions about what's really going on behind the scenes and whether Wilson's assessment of the locker room's culture is accurate. At first glance, the Aces seem to have all the talent in the world. They had a solid core of MVP-caliber players, including Wilson herself, Jackie Young, and Chelsea Gray. However, as free agency began and several key players left the team, the Aces' championship aura started to fade. Wilson's comments made it clear that she didn't think the team had what it took to win another title, which immediately raised eyebrows. If she felt that way, what did that mean for the future of the team? It's hard not to wonder whether A'ja Wilson was partly responsible for the departures. If you look at the bigger picture, it seems like some players may have felt sidelined or undervalued in Wilson's shadow. After all, Wilson has always been the face of the Aces, collecting MVP honors and taking the lion's share of the spotlight. Some players may have grown tired of being treated as supporting cast members, while Wilson got all the praise. It's not a stretch to think that the departures had something to do with this dynamic, especially considering how tightly Wilson clings to the idea that her team wasn't built to win. One major loss for the Aces this offseason was Sydney Carlson, who left the team and signed with the Indiana Fever. Carlson, who had been an integral part of the Aces' success, added championship experience and leadership to the team. But now that she's in Indiana, it seems that her value has been downplayed by Wilson's comments. When Carlson and others left, Wilson seemed to suggest that the departures were an indication of a lack of commitment to the team's success. However, Carlson's move to the Fever and the Aces' subsequent roster shakeup have highlighted a different perspective, one where players are simply looking for new opportunities and different team dynamics. It's important to note that Carlson's impact wasn't just about her on-court skills. As a locker room leader and a culture setter, Carlson was a vital part of the Aces' success. Her role was crucial in maintaining chemistry, keeping morale high, and helping to create a winning atmosphere. It's clear that Carlson wasn't just another player, as she was a key factor in the Aces' title run. Yet when she left, Wilson's criticism seemed to ignore the importance of the veteran leadership that players like Carlson brought to the table. The moves that the Aces made this offseason were also highly scrutinized. With nearly the entire roster from last season gone, there's a sense that the Aces' super team dynamic has dissolved. Players like Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Jackie Young remain, but with so many departures, it's hard to imagine the team replicating their past success. The team now looks quite different, and without a solid general manager to lead the charge, the Aces are in a state of flux. The chemistry, once so strong, is now unrecognizable, and A'ja Wilson is left to deal with a much different roster than the one that helped her win those 2 championships. In contrast, the Indiana Fever have made moves that have made them an intriguing contender for the future. With Caitlin Clark leading the charge and players like Aaliyah Boston and Sydney Carlson joining the ranks, the Fever are quickly becoming a powerhouse in the WNBA. Clark, one of the league's most exciting young talents, has already shown she has what it takes to be a star. With the addition of experienced players like Carlson, the Fever have positioned themselves as a team to watch in the coming seasons. Carlson's departure from the Aces and subsequent move to the Fever adds a layer of intrigue to the WNBA landscape. Some might argue that the Fever's roster now looks even more dangerous than the Aces, with a balanced mix of young talent and seasoned veterans. As the Fever continue to build their team, the Aces seem to be struggling to find their footing. The moves made by the Fever during free agency are part of a broader trend in the league, where teams are doing everything they can to build competitive rosters that can challenge the Aces' once dominant position. What makes the current situation even more compelling is that A'ja Wilson's recent remarks have sparked a larger conversation about leadership and team dynamics. By calling out her former teammates and suggesting that the locker room wasn't up to par, Wilson has painted herself into a corner. She's now the face of a team that has seen many of its most valuable players leave. It's hard not to wonder whether her leadership style played a role in the departures, or if the players who left were simply looking for a new challenge. One of the most significant aspects of this situation is the shift in team culture. In the past, the Aces were viewed as one of the most cohesive and championship-ready teams in the league. But now, with so many departures and Wilson's public criticism of her teammates, the culture has taken a hit. Whether or not the Aces can recover from this remains to be seen, but it's clear that the team is facing an uphill battle to regain the dominance they once enjoyed. Meanwhile, the Fever are on the rise. With the addition of Sydney Carlson, the team has not only bolstered their roster, but also enhanced their leadership. Carlson's presence in the locker room brings a level of professionalism and championship experience that will be invaluable to the Fever's young stars like Clark and Boston. The team is building chemistry and preparing for a future that looks bright. As the Aces' super team crumbles, the Fever seem poised to take their place at the top. In conclusion, the fallout from A'ja Wilson's comments about the Aces locker room has revealed deeper issues within the team. The departures of key players like Sydney Carlson and Kelsey Plum signal a shift in team dynamics, one that has left many wondering if the Aces championship window is closing. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever are positioning themselves as a team on the rise, with a roster that is becoming increasingly stacked. While Wilson's comments may have been meant to air her frustrations, they have only added fuel to the fire, and it remains to be seen whether the Aces can recover from the loss of their super team. As for the Fever, they are only getting stronger, and their future looks incredibly promising. The WNBA landscape has shifted, and it seems that the Fever may be the new team to watch.